It cost me about 15 bucks, so just sort of a low-end soldering project. If you guys like it, I'll make more of this stuff. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm just going to keep doing it in my private life, so maybe a video will pop up like this once in a while. Before we get started, I'm taking a quick look at the instructions, and you can see they're primarily in Chinese with a little bit of English throughout. I speak no Chinese, but that's okay because it's pretty well laid out what we're supposed to put where. So I've got my soldering iron preheated, got a little bit of flux paste, and we can move that into the frame so you can just see me clean a little bit. Got my solder all set up, and we'll see. Hopefully I've got enough wire to get through this. I think I pretty well do, though. So, first component it looks like it wants us to do is a set of resistors, so let's get started in there. And, you know, today we're just going to see how far I make it. And, because I have about an hour to work on this. Looks like we need a 10K right there. So, come over to our resistors. Looks like we got a 10K here. So take that one out. We're going to bend the wires down just a little bit. And let's get that in there. Boom and boom. With these guys, you can see a lot of stuff has plus and minus on there. These don't, so it doesn't really matter which way we go in as long as we've got the right one there. I've out-turned it a little bit on the back. Got my wire ready. Make sure I've got a little flux on the tip. Boop. Fantastic. And let's do our first wire. So we're just going to touch it to the edge. Touch the solder there too. Make sure it's pooling. There we go. And we'll do the next one. Okay. Simple enough. You can see we've got our first component in. And then to clean it up, I go back. I give it a clip. And mind you, I'm just a very beginning solderer, so if you see me make any mistakes, so be it. Okay, looks like next we're going to do some 1Ks. So, I'll look at my components. See, what's this one say? Well, you guys can't see it on the camera, but it does say 1K. There we go. Okay. So looks like we got 4 of those to solder in place. Sorry for the focus issues. I think if we keep everything just kind of down in the flat area, that'll be best. So, got our 10Ks. And I try to do it just like the diagram, so put some of these down there. I can put a link to where I got this on eBay in the description at the end. But to be honest, guys, there's 1,000 people selling these. So I think one is just as good as any. Okay, 1K resistor, 1K hole. Spin these out slightly, just so it holds in place when we turn it upside down. And clean off, bit of flux, hold it to it, and in goes the solder. Okay, clean off the tip, clip it. And that's why we're wearing safety glasses, because one of those could go straight up towards your eye. So, always wear safety glasses. Even if it seems tedious, and, 99% of the time you don't get anything in your eye. The one time it does, it sucks. The reason I know that is when I was a kid, my dad actually owned an auto shop, an exhaust shop specifically. And I used to do oxyacetylene torch welding from the age of like 14. Maybe I tried it my first time at 12. But chose not to wear my safety goggles one time when I was welding. And got a fleck of molten metal in my eye. And that makes your eye water for about a week straight till it detaches. So, wear your safety goggles, okay? Okay, here's number 3. And we're just going to see how far I get today. Okay. And I'm just working my way down this row. All these little 1K resistors. Good thing is you don't even really need the instructions because everything's really clearly labeled on the board here. Pardon my shaky hands. I just had a few cups of coffee, and everything's harder to do with an audience. So, you know, here's what it is. Some of the best people are a little shaky. That's kind of a thing you learn oxyacetylene welding, too. As you know, your body's got a natural amount of trimmer to it, no matter what, and you gotta work with the trimmer, not against it. Hey, Emir Sultabir. Yeah, I just don't use it. Can you read chat? Yeah, buddy, I can read chat. How's it going? Now, I'm not gonna be, reading the chat and responding the entire time, because I've got to focus, but I will look up periodically and say hello to you. And if you have something salty or extra special to say, I will reply in kind. Okay, we've got another resistor. And, I don't have a silicone mat. I just have a natural weave, natural fiber, fin cloth that my mother made me when my kid was born. So I guess she made it for him. But it's a old baby blanket. My kid's 7 now, so we don't use it. It keeps everything in place so it doesn't slide, doesn't scratch the glass table I'm working on. Okay. And anyone watching, you can feel free to criticize my technique. Like I said, I'm really new at this, so not trying to impress anyone, just getting a little practice. And you can do things however you like. It's probably different than I like. And that's okay too. Just get out there and learn something new. This is something I'm trying. Okay. So we've got the ones in. Got this fella in right here. Your 510 Omega. Now let's do our 10K resistors. 10K resistors. Let's see. 510. Let's take a look. 510. Okay. That's what we're supposed to be doing for these guys here. Pretty easy next step. Okay. Let's get cracking. I think for these, instead of doing them one at a time and flipping every single one, I may just set them all in there. Oh, that's a call from my brother. Hope I don't get booted for using the Coast to Coast AM theme song. Riley, if you're watching this now, I will call you back later, bro. Okay. Just a quick consult of my English instructions. Darn it. Sometimes threading these through the little hole is the hardest part. There we go. So I'll probably do a few of these at a time, so you don't have to wait too long between solderings. Just using a table's fine there, Emmy. What I really want to get to solder on is a silicone mat. I just haven't yet. I think that'd be nice because it's heat resistant, keeps things from sliding around. But I've got a glass tabletop here I've had for a long time, and it's got enough scratches on it. I don't want to contribute more, so that's why I put it on a little blanket here. Okay. Okay. Very good. Come back and trim. Boop. Boop. There's number one. As Jake the dog from Adventure Time once said, sucking at something is the first step to being kind of good at something. So you can kind of see this as me taking that first step, huh? Okay. There's 3 more down. Got them all trimmed. Boop. There we go. Awesome. And keep on moving through. And even though it doesn't seem to matter which way these go in, I'm putting them all in the same direction that is pictured in the diagram. Because at the end of the day, something looking a little uniform I think looks better than that. I'm going to flip them and just keep going back and forth because I think that was my fastest way. Because I fiddled with it a lot more the other way. So we'll just insert one, solder one, just like that. No big deal. And clean up the back again. Wow, all 21 people watching. Hello, friends. If you're just tuning in, I'm making an FM radio. A little $15 kit I got on Amazon. And if you're just learning how to solder, I might recommend checking out either like Etsy or Amazon. There's plenty of soldering practice kits out there and a lot of fun things you can make. It just depends, what level of patience you have, what level of skill you've got, etc., etc. This is the third item I've made with this soldering kit so far. First of all, I fixed an old radio with a broken speaker. That was easy enough. And I also modded my Atari 2600 to do output in composite instead of RF. So that's kind of cool. Oh, Temu. That's a good idea. Yeah, I haven't bought anything from them in a while. But when I did, it all showed up eventually, so I don't know, that could work. You probably get it a few cents cheaper. You know, these guys are $15 plus free shipping from eBay, so that worked well enough for me. I've used eBay a long time as a video game collector guy. Okay. And we'll clean that one up. There we are. Got a little lost on the board there. Okay. $35. Arduino Uno R3. Okay. Maybe I'll check that out. Okay. Still working our way through our 510s. I'll move this one out of the way so I don't confuse them as I get lower. Fun fact, I did this project once already, and I kind of got myself in a little bit of trouble because I messed up the crystal oscillator. And I'll tell you about that a little later, so you can avoid making my same mistake. Okay. I may not be doing the prettiest job, but if at the end of the day this thing works, I'll be pleased as punch. And if it doesn't, you know, we can look back at the footage and figure out where I messed up. And thanks anybody for tuning in. I sure appreciate it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so we are done with the 510s. Snippy, snippy. Yeah, looking alright. Not the prettiest job, but yeah, I'm just some guy doing my best. Looks like I got one of them backwards compared to the picture, but that's okay. Okay. Step 2. Now it looks like they want us to solder the crystal oscillator onto the HUM42 module and bend it. Then solder. Okay, so I soldered and then tried to bend it last time. So that wasn't great. That's why I had to buy a whole new kit. So this is important. Okay, so here's the unit we're talking about. Try not to lose the crystal oscillator. There we go. Now they include a lot of spare parts for different things here, but not for the crystal oscillator. And looking at it, I don't see a positive or negative. Okay. And it looks like these are the same length. So, you know, it looks like I can just pretty much plug that in. Okay. And you want to leave a little length so that you can bend it down. Okay. So now it's pre-bent. Okay, right where it's supposed to be. Everyone sees the crystal oscillator is going nowhere. Chat, if you see me making a critical error, just tell me as we go, okay? Remember, I'm a newbie, not an expert. Okay. Solder 1 and solder 2. Okay. Let's see. A little gloopy. I'm going to work on cleaning these up as I go. Okay. And that is down, as it should be. Okay, so now it wants us to solder this unit to the board. Now when we do that, it seems fairly important to make sure everything's lined up properly. So, let's put this here. And it's best practice to solder one corner first to make sure that everything's lined up. So we will do just that. And see, that's a little tricky, isn't it? Because it wants to move on the board, but shit. See, now I'm getting a little shaky and nervous. Okay, and there we go. We're connected. Okay. It's lined up okay. It could be better, but everything will fall into place, though. There we go. Okay. Let's get one on the other side, too. We'll just work our way down the row. You can see it's slightly off kilter, but I think we'll be all right. I'll just work on making sure each connection is touching the right path. Okay. The good thing about this is even if you make a mistake, you know, you can desolder too. Hi, Rusty Russ Repairs. You probably know more about stuff like this if you repair. I'm just very beginner, so I'll be relying on your expertise to tell me if I get anything wrong, okay? Okay, one half is down. As I said, you can see it's not perfect. It's offset slightly. But as long as the paths aren't overlapping, you know, everything's touching where it should be, we'll be all right. Okay. Okay, let's take a close look at that. Haha, thanks, buddy. Well, good. If we're all beginners here, then we'll just have fun together. Let's see. So that part's done. This is as far as I've made it on this one before, because I super messed up and destroyed the crystal oscillator last time I tried this. Let's see. So now it looks like I'm going to be inserting the socket. Okay. Let's take a look at our socket over here. There we go. Thank you, autofocus. So you can see there's a notch at one end. And when we're doing this, we want to make sure the notch on this end lines up with the notch on the board. Okay? So there's that notch at the bottom here. We're just going to stick that bad boy in. Okay, and I've got it turned over. Put a little flux on my tip. And let's get cracking. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Anyone else remember those old Tootsie Pop commercials with the naked guy and the owl? That was a weird time. Okay. So the socket is in. Okay. Do I have a thermal cam or a lab coat? That's funny. No, I am a dude in his man room upstairs. Just messing with this. Nothing that fancy. Okay, so that's in. What's our next step? Looks like they want us to put the LED in spot D1, paying special attention to the plus and minus pins. Okay. So let's go over to our bag of parts. Gotta earn the lab coat. That's right. I have not earned the lab coat. Funny thing, my wife is a nurse practitioner, and she has a lab coat, but she will not wear it. Because she thinks it's a little pretentious in the medical setting. She tries to keep it down to earth. So you can see the positive is the longer wire. And D1 looks like our positive is up top. Okay. Borrow hers then. Okay, yeah, I mean, fair point. This looks like positive is up. Let's stick it in. Okay. Looks like it should be right on the board. Fine with me. Let's bend these a little bit. Okay. And away we go. And guys, if you're watching this and you enjoy it, let's be one of those cringe like and subscribe guys. But I am going to make an actual curated video with this footage, minus me jib-jabbing with you guys. So if you do want to watch the actual curated, edited video later, Hey, thanks, Russ. Yeah, just subscribe and you'll probably see it in, I don't know, a day or two. Maybe later tonight if I get bored. Okay. The LED is on. Okay. Looks like they also want us in this step to put this here, so let's get that going. All right. Okay. So I think they're talking about this boy right there. How do you hit the like button in portrait mode? I don't know, man. You're asking the wrong guy. I wish I knew. I could tell you. Okay, so here's our switch. Let's just set that aside for now. Trying to get to that socket. Okay. Cool. What do we have here? Looks like that's our power supply. Okay. Let's see. Power supply goes on the bottom. Yeah. It's the bottom of the 3 boxes here. Oh. Not to like self-promote too much, but the kind of content I tend to make, just so you guys know, this is part of it now, but I also do stuff on radios, typically like real shitty radios, and old video games. So not your standard Roblox fare and things like that. Uber Micro Repairs. Hello. Welcome. Okay, here's one. Just burnt my thumb a little. Be careful out there, guys. Don't want to end up like your buddy Ryan with a slightly burnt thumb. Okay, looks like that's soldered. Let's solder it in the back to anchor it as well. The cool thing is, too, I think once this video is done, if anyone wants to use this as a reference when they're putting it together for themselves, you know, you can. Hey, okay, cool. I'll be giving you a lab coat at the end of the stream. True facts. Everyone gets a free lab coat. Not true. Not true. I'm saying that because I myself have a touch of the tism and tend to take things literally. I'm guessing if you're watching me solder, there's a 50-50 chance you might have a touch of the tism too. Okay, so now we're putting in our switch. Okay, this one's a little harder because I gotta flip it and keep it in place. So you're gonna see me fiddle with it a little bit. So I'm gonna solder on the back end. Actually, you know what? Forget that. I'm just gonna anchor it now and then flip it. What do you guys think? Put some with a little weight on there. Nah, I'm gonna do it from the other side. That's making me nervous. Okay, I got it. Okay. There's one in. Okay, got him in. So for anyone just joining, I am soldering up an FM radio. And yeah, I mean, stuff's not totally straight. But if it works, it works. Okay. Alright, guys. Let's see. Next thing we're putting in, just so you see my step, I'm on step 5. We're putting this in. So that's your audio socket. So, we'll be able to use headphones. That's my primary way I like to enjoy radio. Because you get the best quality sound that way. Okay. It's in place. I know, right? Okay. Here we go. There we go. It was a thirsty little socket. Okay. Right. Boom. Audio socket in. We're making some good progress, a lot quicker than I thought I would today. Let's see, next is step 6. We gotta solder in the electrolytic capacitors. Long pin is plus, short pin is minus. Okay, let's find those in our kit. Make sure there's no lookalikes. That's very important. You know, and sometimes I put on readers so I can check these things a little better. For anyone under 30 in the chat, you'll know what readers are when you're older, if you don't already. Okay. Okay, there we go. Plus N, minus N. There's nothing else that looks like this in the kit, so we should be good to go. Get a dip of flux. Woo! There we go. And clean her up. Ooh. Did you hear that one hit the wall? You probably didn't hear that, but it smashed the wall behind my head, which is across the room. Okay, long end positive, short end negative. Make sure you're putting them in the right way. We'll dip in the rosin. One down. And another one down. Cool. We are cruising, my friends. And the moment, let's see here. Well, put the next one in. Give me just a tick, gents. Okay, so my work table here is getting a little covered in these little pieces, so let's take a quick break and clean it up. I've got an electromagnet that I made out of a railroad spike here. If you want to see how I did that, that's the short I posted yesterday. But let's just clean this up real quick. So I'm going to press it down and now pick up all the little magnetic bits. And here they are. And we'll just put them out to the side. That was fun, wasn't it? I know, right? WTF indeed. It's a good way to clean up little bits of metal. Here, I'll do a few more. You see? It works. I know, it looks like a detonator, doesn't it? But it is not. I probably shouldn't say the word detonator, right? I don't know what the rules are. You want one? Well, you can make one. Ooh. Comet got held for review, M5 coach. The answer to your question is a big negatory. I'm building an FM radio. Yeah, I actually want to start making more of these railroad spike electromagnets. I think it'd be a fun kit to do with like kids or whatever. Obviously, parent supervision required. But me and my kid messed with it all afternoon yesterday, and it was a ton of fun. I think if I had an all-in-one kit to make an electromagnet, I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old little boys. I think that would be right up their alley. But instead, they just have a weird dad with a garage full of crap he can, MacGyver together. That one doesn't want to melt. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Now, if you are going to make an electromagnet, the railroad spike is cool because I had it laying around. But your best bet's going to be to get a soft steel core if you really want to do it nice. That's just what I had. I had a D battery, an or a D battery, a length of wire, and a railroad spike in my garage. So to cook up some fun on a day off they had from school yesterday, we just made an electromagnet. So, okay, we're looking good. Let's see what's left. I think we're about halfway through here. So we've got the electrolytic capacitors in there. Boom, step 7. Solder digital tubes. Pay attention to the direction. Digital tubes. I guess we're talking about this guy here. Okay, fine. Pay attention to direction. Which is the direction? Okay. So the dots are at the bottom in both the display and on this. So I'll just tuck that in there. That looks like it matches nicely. We'll flip that over. That's the hardest part, I feel like. Just making sure that everything's the way it needs to be. And it stays that way after you flip it. Come on, buddy. I'll try to get a different angle in on this. Okay, there we go. We're cruising. Man. Okay, next one. Now, for anyone just tuning in, this is a very basic FM radio kit. It can be had on eBay or probably AliExpress or Temu, things like that. I got mine for 15 bucks. Shipped straight to my door from a USA seller. Took them about 2 days to get here. Okay. So that's in, for better or worse. That's cool. Alright, FM radio. Next we go. Nothing suspicious going on here. Yeah, there is nothing suspicious going on here. I'm building a radio. Very ignorant about that. So it looks like we need to solder in the 6x6x12.5 keys. Go to our bag. Guys, there's less and less stuff in my bag. We might make it through. Maybe. Got about an hour to do this. I think the soldering stuff is almost over, so that's cool. Okay, so I think these are our switches they're talking about here, 4 clicky buttons. It looks like negative, negative, positive, positive. Oh, it's volume up and down and frequency up and down. Okay. Low key, just go outside and find some broken PCs and turn that into a radio. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could if you know a lot more than me. As I've said, I'm not that clever, okay? Like, a little clever. Okay, I'm going to have to bend these a little bit to get them in. Hey, alright, there's one. Okay. So for these, I think maybe I'll solder them on this side, because it's not going to sit straight if I flip it over. Dang it. Yeah, I do need a breadboard. You're right. This is why. As I said, very beginner, you know. My equipment will continue to grow as I do this, and I think breadboard is next. Until then, you can watch me be fiddly and goofy. Buddy Ryan's hitting the wall here. Let's see. Well. Here, I'll just position it for success. There we go. Well, chat, any sort of humor is allowed on my stream as long as it doesn't break YouTube's policies. If it were up to me, the policies wouldn't even matter, but, you know, it's the age we live in. The heck? I like bread, does that count? There we go. First one on. Yeah, dude, I love a breadboard for that, too. Sounds delicious. I hear a lot of people saying I need a breadboard. If you want to send me one, I'd use it. Good lord, I'm just a guy making a thing on top of an old blanket. Just balling up instead of pooling. Here. There we go. No, it's not my wife's clothes. It's a old woven blanket my mom made my kid when he was born. There we go. We stuck that time. All right. Yeah, there's a big dumb glob right there. Whatever. Not the best. Oh well, you guys know I'm a beginner. Okay. Next bit here. Okay. I think I'm getting the hang of these switches now. Are the chats bots? Have I been talking to myself this whole time? That would be really sad. I mean, ostensibly, I am in a room in my house talking to myself, so whatever. Okay. I got 3 of them in. One more. Oh, good. I'm happy for anyone who wants to make a video on such things. Be cool to see someone who's actually good at soldering do it. Okay, now we're moving along. Perfect. All right. Got our 4 clicky switches in. Oh, cool. You guys all have repair channels? Awesome. Maybe you guys can repair this after I totally mess it up. Okay, 4 clicky switches. Next one. Ooh, we're getting almost to the point where we can put the case in. Okay, looks like I need to put in this chip. Right here. It's the moment of truth. Your buddy Ryan has goofball hands, so see if this works. Now, there's the divot, so we always want the divot to be lined up. And I'm not going to press it down until I'm certain everything is in where it needs to be. Okay. Ah, shit. Just slightly out of alignment. Maybe I'm making more problems for myself because I'm so nervous about this step. There we go, we're in. Okay. Cool. 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 Okay. Next step is we're gonna put the antenna on. So here's my antenna. And it looks like it goes here. Okay. That makes sense. At some point I might solder a socket there too so I can put a long wire antenna. Okay. Let's see. Looks like the screw and the bolt's right in my bag. Come on. Okay. And it looks like it has it oriented like this. So let's stick this through. Okay. Put that there. Good so far. Not so good. Okay. And then I gotta thread this tiny little thing on there. Let's see here. Ugh. A tiny little thing in a hole. Feel like Melania. Let's see there. Okay. Gotta admit, I don't have a wrench that's this size, but I do have my little this guy. I think that should work, actually. Let's see. Hey, alright. We're doing good. Hi, everyone. Swindon Electric Repairs, huh? You're out to Swindon, are you? And just teasing. Okay, it's starting to look a lot more like a radio, guys. This is awesome. Okay, let's see. Weld them together. Okay. Alright, well, then, let's see. What orientation does it want it welded? Looks like... Oh, shucks, I might have gotten this backwards. Okay. That's why we double, triple check everything. I don't think in the end it's going to be that consequential, whether it's on the front or the back, but just in case, I want to make sure it matches the picture. Okay. Yeah, well, someone else put one of these together on a channel and it went much faster. Again, that's because I'm brand new at this. I'm kind of a goober. So thanks for supporting me by checking it out at least. Thanks, Swindon. Okay. Try to thread this. Makes me feel like a giant. There we go. Okay. There's that. Okay. It says to solder. It looks like maybe we're meant to solder it in the back. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's check out the way it wants us oriented. It wants us oriented straight up and down. Okay. Before I do this, I'm going to make sure this is just as tight as it can be. You know what? It came with a little screwdriver in the bag. Let's get that out. Here's our case we'll be using. Some other junk in there. Yeah, do it right proper. Okay. As good as she gets. Okay, that's good enough for me. Okay. Cool. Alright, we love FM radio. Let's see. Got that in. Next. Ooh, I think I'm done soldering. Looks like it's all just screws and stuff for now. So let's take the soldering iron away. Put my paste out of the way. Well, I suppose... No, I will have to solder the speakers on at some point. So maybe I spoke too soon. Okay. So, next it looks like insert battery shrapnel, that can't be the right word, into the corresponding position on the casing. So, let's see here. I think when they say shrapnel, they mean these metal bits. If I were translating small metal pieces, literally from Chinese, I might come up with shrapnel too. So that's okay. Yeah, thanks, Dave. I got it fired back up. Got us out of that speaker. Thought I was out of the woods. You're right. Okay. So, this is what we're doing. Plus minus dot. Plus minus dot. Okay, well. And it looks like we're putting them in face down. Okay. So like this then. Okay, there's one. And a dot. There we go. That's a little bit more snug. And anything like this, you got to make sure that it's sitting in there right. Little thin pieces of metal can be bent. Okay. And following the diagram, looks like there's another spring on this side, another dot. So we're just lining up our positive and negative terminals. And another spring right here. Okay. Okay. There's that. Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. The burn is still real. Did I burn something? Okay, so that's good. And solder one end of the red and black connecting wire to the short battery spring and the other end to this circuit board. Okay. So looks like we're going to be soldering here. Oh yeah, I did burn my finger a little bit. I think there's a kind of a lag between what's on here and what you guys are responding to. Oh, you know what though, Dave? Luckily I have a aloe plant, so I can get all the aloe I want for any burns. I'm also my family's cook, so I'm often burned in that way as well. Okay, so Try to line up this with the pictures. Gloves is a smart move. I think you'd lose some dexterity, though. Okay. Give me a sec just to check this. Okay, our wiring. Let's get that out. What is that goofy coin sound? That is the sound of a coin from the first Super Mario Bros. Game. It happens when I get a text. And since you're watching this on my phone, sometimes you will hear texts. But I'm not going to read them to you, because that would be weird, wouldn't it? Okay, so this just shows 2 wires, but I have 4 wires. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that I can take these apart. And even if I can't, I can just solder them where they belong later. Man, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. How about that? Okay. So, solder one end of the red and black connecting wire to the short battery spring and the other end to the circuit board. Okay, so it looks like I need to solder here. And I need to solder here. So red there and black there. Cool. Okay. Alright. Well, I guess I'll put a little tin on here first. Yeah, thought so. I'm gonna fuck this up, just so you know. That song that you recognize there is the Coast to Coast AM opening credits theme. I guess not the opening credits, just the introduction theme. So maybe you listened to some overnight talk radio at some point, huh? And sorry for the delay. I'm just trying not to mess this up. So I want to make sure I get everything right. A little tin on there. Let's get a little tin on the wire. Get it on my... Okay, get it on there first. And that's going to be our black wire. So let's get it on our black wire. Little tin on there. And then let's just put them together. Melted the case a little. That's fine. Ugly, but functional. Okay. And then I'm going to put the red one down here, which means down here. So let's get a little tin on there. Okay. A little tin on the red wire. Okay. Okay. And let's try to do them together. Peel these apart a little bit. Okay. That's on. Cool. And it matches the picture. So that's what we want. And now where does it want us to solder it on the board? Okay, so it looks like there's positive and negative battery here. Okay. And so it looks like positive will be red, negative will be black. Wow, 36 viewers hit that like button is what Russ says. I tend to agree. If you're watching, just hit a like, you know. Or don't. I'm not your mom. But Russ is, so listen to him. Okay, positive on red, negative on black. Put a little tin on there. Get this out of the way. I don't want to melt my other wire. Okay. That's 2 wires down in there. Hey, 10 likes. Sorry, guys, Russ. I'm just joking around as I'm doing this. I don't mean to offend, just a joke. Solder one end of the red connection. Blah, 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 blah. Done. All right, we are in the home stretch, boys and girls. Okay, solder one end of the red and black connecting wire to the horn. I assume they mean speaker. And one end to the PCB and stick the sponge ring onto the speaker. Okay, well, let's look. I assume we should do the sponge ring after so we don't melt it. And does it show anything as positive or negative? I don't think so. Oh, okay. Yeah. I hear ya. Thanks for that, Dave. Here. I should flip the sponge. And the sponge clean. Okay. So the second set of wires. Let's see. Oh, you know what? It's actually labeled positive and negative, so it takes out some of the guesswork, but thanks for the tip, Dave. Okay. So, just like before, let's get a little tin on it first. Come on, stay in place. Okay. So a little bit of tin on that. And then let's connect our positive to it. Make sure that's our positive side. Oh, we'll connect our negative to it. Darn it. Yeah, I really need something better as a surface to solder on. So anyone watching me, Iron Man out in the desert, enjoy. Okay. It's stuck in there a little. So let's just glob on that. Ah. Okay. Did you know that your buddy Ryan is stupid? Alright, so I think I messed this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and desolder it. And try again. Got my desolderer here. Thanks, Charles. Yeah, you guys are watching me learn in real time, so I appreciate the kindness. So... there we go. Holes out. Cool. I do not have spicy vids in my bio. Thank you very much. I'm a happily married man. And my wife says I'm not allowed to watch those kinds of videos. She didn't say nothing about making them, right, gang? Okay. Go through the hole first this time. Maybe I'm cavemaning it a little bit, but oh well. Getting a little frustrated here. There we go. We're nominally on. Cool. Just gonna do the next one this way preemptively. Whoops. There we go. So I'm just going to twist this off and slip it in. And if I have too much left over at the end, I will just clean it up a little bit because we don't want other parts touching. It's just a little topic of conversation, guys. Has anyone seen the new Toxic Avenger movie? Did anyone know there was an old Toxic Avenger movie? A company called Troma puts it out. Independent filmmakers. If that's your kind of deal, they make schlocky, sort of grindhouse style, rated X horror movies. And they're kind of a classic household name from back in the day. Anyway, they got Peter Dinklage and Kevin Bacon to be in the new one. Alright, see ya, Amir. But yeah, it's hilarious. You have little Peter Dinklage being sort of a toxic waste-themed superhero. It's actually hilarious. Okay, There we go. I'll trim that up a little bit. Ooh, John, why are you covering your face? What'd I do wrong? Tell me. Okay, let's see. And positive and negative on the speaker. Looks like it's located right there. So we'll do red to positive, black to negative again. Get a little tin on there. Heck, let's do it for each while we're in here. Okay. Red for positive, black for negative. Let's go. Okay, red's in. Black is in. Red and black, red and black. Okay. I think we've more or less got a functioning radio now. I just need to snap it together. Let's see. Okay, that's all looking good. Now it says solder one end of red and black connecting wire to the horn and the other end to the PCB. And stick the sponge ring onto the speaker. Okay. Well, let's get the sponge ring onto the speaker. Boop. On we go. Okay. Got that. Insert speaker into slot, install casing with self-tapping screws. Okay. Fine with me. Have to make sure everything fits nicely. Stuff's sticking to me. Okay. Okay. And yeah, so you guys have pretty much watched me build a whole radio. It's going to be real funny when we open it up and or when we turn it on and it doesn't work. But let's see. Well, if you want one, get one, guys. I mean, they're 15 bucks. I don't know what it costs to ship it to, wherever you live, but for me, it ended up working out quite nicely. Let's see here. Swindon sounds English, right? I don't know how shipping is to there. I'm sure you can obtain it. Alright, let's see here. Oh, UK. I'm sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to misspeak. Went to Scotland last summer and I just loved it. Swindon. Got your accent by Ethernet. That's funny. You know what my favorite thing ever is? I love hearing British people make bad American accents. Because we all just sound like we're from the South, right? Get off your horse and drink some milk. That's my impression of a British guy making an American guy accent. Come on, line up. Cool. For folks who have stuck with me through this whole thing, I appreciate it. We're getting there. I'll fire it on too if I have time. You know, I'm amazed my wife hasn't come up the stairs and told me to do something. So, we're doing pretty good. You know, when you get to be a man of a certain age, kids and family and everything, time where you can just do stuff like this that you want to do is more and more rare. So, I just want to say I appreciate your time for watching me build this. Well, you appreciate the stream? Shucks, I appreciate you watching, buddy. You know, it means something to me because I'm just doing this for fun. It's when you find the note, the dinner's in the dog. That's funny. Okay, I'm installing my little clicky buttons here. Man, you guys have no idea. So my dogs, I've got two half pit bulls. One's half pit bull, one's half Rottweiler, one's half boxer and half pit bull. Great dogs, super sweet, but my wife spoils them. She will feed them potato chips. I didn't know this for years. This is funny. She fed them potato chips for years, and we're not supposed to feed them people food. That's a rule I have. And she would just chew her chips really loudly when I would give them, or when she would give them to them. So for years I thought she was a slob. I had no idea the dogs were eating the chips. Okay, so I need 3 AAAs to make this work, so if you bear with me, I will fish some out. So I've got double A's for days. So we're going to go for the tried and true classic. Get some out of the remote here. Remember doing this when I was a kid. Get harvesting batteries for my Game Boy. The parents aren't going to replace batteries for my Game Boy, but they will replace batteries when the remote is out of batteries. Okay. Moment of truth coming up, but safety first. Let's put this back in. Okay. Okay. Here goes, gosh. Well, I must have screwed something up, huh? Shouldn't have an extra resistor. Well, oh, what is this step? RTGV. I think I might have missed something. Let's see what goes up top right here. Shouldn't have an extra resistor. Well, I don't see any missing, guys. Everything's where it ought to be. See if USB power works. That's a great idea. Okay. Thanks, Dave. Let me get my USB power hooked up here. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to get a battery and see if it works here. Give me just a tick. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a look here. Here, Dave. Get you a close look at it. Alright, let's see if USB power works. Fingers crossed. Nothing! Man, you gotta be kidding me. Something's happening, though. Well, I guess I'll troubleshoot this and get back with you. I don't know what the problem could possibly be. Maybe I screwed something up in here. Yeah, let's look, Dave. I appreciate you taking the time. Feels warm in here, so something's wrong. No, you know what? I don't have a multimeter. I wish I did right now. Something somewhere is probably backwards, though. Did I put the capacitor in the right way around? Yeah. I made sure that the long wire was the positive, right? I'm pretty invested too, Dave. Trust me. Let's see. Maybe we can find something I did wrong here. And if I do, definitely point it out, because, like I said, I'm pretty new at all this. It's because I'm using off-brand batteries. Thanks, Riley. Not so sure about that. Well, I'm looking over it, and I don't really see anything. Any solder bridge. That's what I'm trying to locate here. Dave sees it. What do you see? Defective from manufacturer, you think so? Is that blue thing the correct way? Okay, which blue thing? One of these? Shout out a label if you see one that you think is wrong. think R9 I have in there backwards, but I don't think the resistors have a positive or negative to them. The IC in the middle. Let's see. The huge blue one with the transistor cap. You talking about this fella? Oh, between the speaker and the resistor. Okay. We're talking about this fella here. You talking about this? Yeah, the delay sucks, Dave. I'm sorry. Let's see. These all have alphanumeric labels to them. I'm talking about this fella. Yeah, if anyone can see where I screwed up, give me a shout. Let's see how it works just without the batteries, or if it works without the batteries. Let's check that out. We'll just do this. Hey, that works. Okay, something's happening. So we're searching, looks like. We got sound. So the issue's got to be that the battery's backwards, you're right. Okay, so let's see how I mess this up then. At least we know it works off of USB power. Yay, hearts and likes. Awesome. You guys are so sweet and supportive. I really appreciate it. Okay. So we did positive to the positive end here. And negative to the negative end. Yeah, good idea, Russ. That's kind of why I switched to talk radio as quick as I could. I don't want to get bonked by the YouTube gods. Maybe I put the batteries in backwards. Let's try it again. That's the right way. That's the right way. And that's the right way. Let's see about now. Okay, now it works. Okay. So it does work. Maybe I just put the batteries in wrong. Kind of a rook mistake, I guess, but I am a rook, so. Looks like I soldered everything right, though, so that's good. Alright, let's put this together one more time. Thanks, Charles. You guys have been so nice. You know, I really appreciate it. A lot of times you get on the internet and everyone's mean. Especially, you know, in a situation where you're new at something. I have found as a hobbyist in many areas that people can be rather gatekeepy, but you guys have been nothing but kind to me, so I just want to say thank you. So I was really nervous to get on here and do something that I really don't know how to do very well, and let you be part of the learning process with me. So that's pretty rad that it's worked out so positively. Yeah, I did the hard parts, right? That's right. You know, that's just the kind of goofy stuff that I might do, though. Like, spend an hour and a half working on this thing, and then in the last step, screw it up. But that's okay. Okay. So, I have just learned that before we button things up all the way, we need to make sure it works. And I've seen other people do that, but, you know, never follow good advice, I guess. Now, what the hell? So I put the case together and it doesn't want to work. Positive to negative. Positive to negative. Okay. So am I making something short by putting the case together? Something about the case pressing it together. Well, it can't be the batteries because I have a separate power source here. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I must have left a little bit of bare wire on the speaker or something that's touching somewhere it ought not to. Okay. Set my screws aside. Let's see. I'm going to push these back, because maybe it's some of these connectors that are doing it, huh? Maybe that's making something touch that ought not to. Okay. Alright. Keep it on while putting it together. That's smart. That's a good idea. Yeah, let's try that. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, see, something's shorting right there. Right when I press it in. Okay. Any ideas, gang? It seems like somehow it's coming from when I press these together. So something's touching that shouldn't. Is the ground off your speaker clear off the solder? Oh, let's try this. Let's tuck these under. Okay. Still working.
Singing songs full of Jesus.
Here. And keep the volume low. Hey, yeah, baby. Dave, man, you've been essential. My spirit guide. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn it off while I'm doing this, and then we'll do the final fire up. Okay. We are doing it. You know, I don't think I've ever done any kind of project in my entire life that had zero problems that needed fixing at some point. So, when you're trying something, you just gotta be willing to screw up and try to fix it. I almost wanted to give up and try to troubleshoot it off camera when the batteries got hot. But you guys saw me through, so thank you. And yeah, I'll stream more stuff. Sometimes, you know, I'll play like an Atari game or something, or maybe it might be something like this, or shortwave radio listening. It's a little diverse. Feel free to ignore the kinds of videos you don't like, and watch the ones you do. And I'll try not to flood your stream with too much BS if you subscribe. Just pure gold, baby. Okay. There we go. Oh, thanks, Swindon Electronic Repairs, for subbing. I appreciate that. Let's see. No! Why? This fucking thing. So we identify the issue, we fix the issue, and the issue persists. Okay. Let's see. Tuck this under further, I guess, huh? Okay, let's just make sure it's working. It's working. Thanks. Yeah, I needed some unscrewing practice, I guess. Maybe let's try orienting the speaker a different way. Maybe whatever it's catching on won't be so pressed if we do it this way. Nope, see? Nothing. What in the good God? I mean, it's literally the moment the case touches it, it stops working.
Las exportaciones de Brasil directamente.
Could it be? I don't think it's the speaker. Let's just start pressing on components. Okay, it's something with this end. Yeah, who needs a case? Well, we've got a functioning radio out of the thing. Has to be the battery. You know what? You're probably right. Ah, Dave's unbranded. You did it again. Let's see. Ah, I bet you it's this bad boy right here. Let's push that the heck down. Okay, I think I found it, gents. Okay, so when I press... No, it's something in this corner. Okay. It's in this corner, it looks like. Well... I can't make anything. Battery terminals. Let's try this battery terminal. Okay, I'm gonna push you down too. Alright. Hey! Compress it as much as I want now. Okay. And looks like it'll work all pressed together now. Cool. Yeah, see, now I've even got a technique for putting these back together. Getting them seated in the hole. Alright. You guys have been so patient waiting for the final reveal. And this has been really fun to do. So I'll do more of these. I'll just come out and say it. I'll do more of these, okay? But look.
Your attention.
My attention. Cool. And we can turn it up. We can turn it down. Okay. And then let's run it off DC too. Well, I think you can only do one at a time, so I'm not going to put both in. But anyway, it works, boys. Thank you so much for watching, and ladies, potentially. I had a great time making this. And, yeah, radio built by me. Thanks, and have a great day.